Nah. You know what that is? Taco Bell.
I ate Taco Bell earlier today, and I did not have anywhere close to that problem.
What'd you eat?
Oh! Oh, Jesus.
Toxic hazard detected.
Oh. Oh, buddy. You are not looking good. Here, have a shot. Taju, Kagebushin no Jutsu! Ah, crap. I didn't make shadow clones. Instead, I made, like, little, like, quarter versions of myself. So, yeah, these are my nephews. This is Case.
Hola.
And this is Rylan.
Hey.
So, yeah, we are going to be watching Anime with Alvin, or Bitching with Babish, or Babish's Culinary Universe, who just hit 10 million subscribers. Woo! 10 million subs. So, Naruto is a show that we've all watched. It's been around long enough to where I was in school when it started coming out. Actually, no. I think I had just... When did Naruto first start coming out? Hold on. Let me... Naruto. There we go.
Sasuke.
So... Sasuke! So 2002 was when the Naruto show started. So yeah, I was still in school.
I did not exist.
Yes, neither of these two
Neither did I.
existed. And Shippuden finished up in 2017, and instead Boruto, or Naruto's Next Generation, started, and that's basically where we are now. And it is 208... Oh, jeez Louise. So
I
yeah.
can't imagine watching that.
Well, no, a lot of people say that Boruto is actually really good. Because it's basically like Naruto's son continuing the adventures. But also, you know, Naruto over time has just become regarded as like one of the all-time like best anime. Although I will say this, the amount of filler episodes that show had was just insane. And there are guides that you can get to like which ones to avoid so you don't just get overwhelmed by filler. So either way though, there's been one staple from Naruto that everyone can agree on. Ramen looks delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone here has seen like the giant bowl of ramen with the pork cutlets and the little like swirly cake, you know, fish cake in it and everything. It's just been like, oh, me want right now. Give now. That's basically how I've been with Naruto's Ichiraku Ramen. So Alvin Joe, or Anime with Alvin on Babish's channel, went through the effort of making Ichiraku Ramen from Naruto. And I guess we're going to check it out, and we're going to see what kind of culinary mastery this man had to come up with in order to create Ichiraku Ramen. My guess is a lot of noodles. He had to do a lot of noodles. Not only that, a lot of miso, a lot of pork, a lot of different things to get it right. So, shall we, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Let's check it out. Hey, Rockley!
ナルト君が一番よく頼むラーメンをお願いします。ナルトが好きなラーメンか。そうだな。そんなの決まってるじゃない。味噌チャーシュー大盛りね。おお、そうだった。なるほど。
Hello there, welcome back to another episode of Anime with Alvin. Today, I'm going to be making probably one of the most iconic anime recipes of all time, the Ichiraku Ramen from Naruto. The ramen from the show seems to be a miso tonkotsu ramen, so I have 3 kinds of different miso here. But before we get to that, we have some other things that...
I say that one in the middle looked like chewed bubble gum if it was dyed black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other two kind of looked like pie
Peanut
crust.
butter.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter or pie crust that you put out and do like a pie.
But I will
paella.
say, miso is very good.
Yes,
Yeah.
miso is delicious.
So I have 3 kinds of different miso here, but before we get to that, we have some other things that we need to attend to. A bowl of good ramen usually has quite the number of components that make it delicious. And the
pork
first thing
belly.
that we're going to get started on is the chashu. What I got here is a whole slab of pork belly. This one has skin on, but in making chashu, it is usually recommended to actually take the skin off.
It's always customary to just give a good slap to the pork belly. We're never, just like, there you go.
Handling
Belly
purposes. In the show, Naruto does like quite the amount of chashu in his ramen, so we are making a lot today. Before I roll the pork up to make those signature circular patterns, I do need to trim off a lot of the fat and a lot of the excess meat that comes with it. This stuff is great to marinate, chop up, and cook in a stir fry, so I'll be saving these for later. And I do want to mention that I have not made ramen from scratch before, and so in order to make this video, we reached out to Ryan from Way of Ramen, who runs a magnificent YouTube channel focused on all things ramen. He also happened to make the Ichiraku Ramen from Naruto as well.
Yeah.
Something wrong?
No. Somebody just texted me.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
And we are going to be taking a lot of our recipe based off of his techniques and videos.
Ooh.
So thank you, Ryan. I hope I make you proud.
That's a pretty good
So after
way to
putting
shave
us on a
off the pork
belly
skin.
through a diet plan, we are now ready to roll. To begin, I'm laying down 4 pieces of equally cut string or butcher's twine on a cutting board. It's really important to keep things tight, because if you don't, everything's just gonna kind of go everywhere and it's not very fun, so might as well keep it rolled tight. But once the pork belly has been turned into a long and very tight tube, I'm placing it seam side down onto the string. That's also really important so that things don't start flopping around again. And one by one,
Flop
I'm
around
tying
like
up
my
the
belly.
string in a pretty simple knot, making sure
POV
that
or
it is
tie-dye.
relatively tight.
POV
to keep the pork
tie-dye.
in its nice tubular shape. One final step, just give the pork a little bit of a slap.
Always
And
a
this is for
slap with it.
quality assurance
Customary.
purposes, just like how this phone call might be recorded or monitored. I would like to introduce you to the holy trinity of a lot of
Garlic,
ingredients.
ginger,
garlic,
and onions.
scallions.
Oh, scallions.
Chopping these up, these are going to be the perfect accompaniments to go make friends with our pork. But first, I do want to get a head start on the pork's flavor. So in a large Dutch oven over high heat, I'm searing off the surface of the rolled pork burrito until the edges are nice
Pork
golden
burrito.
brown. I don't believe this step is necessary, but hey, might as well get some free flavor in there. Now I get to add the aromatics. So the ginger, the garlic, and the scallion go in. And now time for the liquids. I'm pouring in shoyu,
Soy sauce.
sake, water, and sugar. This is going to be the braising.
Dang, that's a
point
lot of
for the
sugar.
pork to
That
get
is
nice
quite a
and
bit.
tender and also
Yeah.
absorb a lot of those flavors as it cooks. It's kind of like a big flavor hot tub, and honestly a little jealous of the pork right now. And
Oh,
once
come
the
now.
pork is relaxing in its nice little bubble bath, I'm going to use a tool called an otoshibuta. Essentially, it's a drop lid that goes direct.
I've seen those. I never knew what the heck they were for.
That just looks like a torture device.
Yeah, it looks like a
Cutting
saw
your head
blade, just like.
Sawing your head off.
I'll be
Sawing your
using
face
this to
off.
It looks like a cheese grater that you use for someone's skin.
Sawing your
Oh
face
gosh,
off.
buddy, why would you say that?
It was in the Evil Dead trailer. That's what I thought of.
Shredding your face off.
directly on
Ooh,
top of
buddy.
the spring liquid and the food inside the pan
Oh.
to prevent a lot of evaporation and to evenly distribute the cooking liquid along the food. There's a lot of ways you can actually make this out of parchment paper. I think it's a pretty cool trick, so look into it. As far as timing goes, I'm gonna
Okay.
let this go for about 2 to 3 hours until it's nice and tender.
Ooh.
Now, in the show, it's mentioned that Naruto's favorite ramen is a miso tonkotsu ramen. So we need to make a miso tare that'll help season and flavor the soup.
Oh,
For our
jeez.
miso tare, I'm gonna combine
That's a lot of miso,
That's
bro.
quite a bit.
miso, white miso,
Oh.
mugi miso into a small saucepan over medium heat. Then I'm gonna add ginger and garlic, both of which have been grated and minced, followed by shoyu, sake, mirin, togarashi, and sesame seeds. If you're thinking to yourself, man, that sounds like a lot of stuff, and it probably is a lot of flavor.
Looks
You'd
like
be
a lot
right.
of stuff.
It is a lot of stuff, and it is a
Sheesh.
ton of flavor. After cooking this for a few minutes to release the rawness of a lot of the ingredients we
Okay, now it looks like brownie batter.
Yeah. It
threw
look.
in, and the
Look at
consistency has
look at that.
Look at that.
Tell me you're not about to make brownies.
And all of a sudden you smell it, just like, dude, what did you put in the brownies? Oh.
Naruto ramen, more like Naruto brownies.
Yeah, just had to put the orange icing on top of it for like his jumpsuit.
Oh yeah.
This is ready to be set aside for later use. This is naboshi. It's a kind of dried fish used to make things
Oh,
like
yeah.
dashi. And I'm gonna remove the heads off of it because they can be quite bitter and
Remove
have some
your head.
unpleasant tastes. Once the heads and bodies of these
Heads
fish have been
removed.
divorced, they're gonna go into a container with some water. This is the first.
Like, Alvin, what are you doing? I'm ripping the heads off of fish.
Ew, I don't like.
It's just like twisting them off like little snippets. Like
I just don't like fish.
I like fish, all right. There's certain kinds of fish I like. I like salmon.
Bye.
Stop assaulting my microphones, please.
This is the 6th time.
I'd say more than that. Gosh, homie. I was gonna say, what did this thing do to you?
Okay, anyways, bye.
It's just like all of a sudden you're just looking at it, just like, stop looking at me. I said stop looking at
that it takes to make our soup today. One of my favorite things about a good bowl of ramen is the jammy egg that kind of lays on top. As you can see, I'm trying to use a needle to poke a hole in these eggs, but it is not working. I'm now using a knife to poke holes in these eggs. Sounds kind of cool to say, but it's probably not the safest thing to do. Slow, don't break the egg. Oh, it's yes, let's go, baby. Whoa! For a nice soft boil, I'm putting these into boiling water for about 6.5 minutes. Okay.
No.
This guy seemed to come out a little bit early. It's alright. Happens to the best of us. Back in the carton you go. These eggs get dropped in for about 6.5 minutes on
So I guess you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
One of my good friends,
It's a little
Caillou
delicacy.
Escamilla, is a ramen chef. He taught me that if you swirl eggs in the water like a whirlpool, this will cause the yolks to sort of center and stabilize in the middle, giving you a beautiful, perfect cross section for the
So
custard.
just like,
I was never a good student in
you know,
school.
say, it'd be like good for deviled eggs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just like make sure that the yolk is always in the center. You know, just like spin them around while you're boiling them.
Around the world.
And after
Around
exactly
the world.
390 seconds, I'm taking the eggs out and putting them straight into an ice bath. This will shock the egg, prevent it from cooking further, and hopefully make them easier to peel.
The shells
Let's do
are
a little sneak peek, shall we? Ho, ho, ho.
Ooh, yeah, good jammy egg.
Please excuse us while Kendall and I make a little snack in the back.
Nom.
Approved. Our pork has been in its hot tub for about 3 hours now, so it's pretty much ready. I'm going to take off the otoshibuta and transfer the pork onto a tray to be chilled. But all this marinade left in the pot, that's the good stuff. I do like to take the fat off of the top with a paper towel trick taught to me by none other than my dad. He does this a lot at home when he tries to take off the fat that floats on top of his soups. He thinks by doing this he is going to lose weight. I've seen his belly. I don't think it's working too well. For the purpose of this.
Wow, Alvin, talk about your dad like that. It's like Alvin's just like, yep, my dad's fat.
Put it out for everyone to see.
Yeah, just put that. Yeah, that's how it is.
He's fat.
Just okay. Case. Just like it. I get it. You know, he's like his dad is fat. Alvin himself is not fat. Alvin's in pretty good shape.
I'm not talking about him.
But who are you talking about?
Hey, I'm sitting right here. There's no need for you to. There's no need for you to.
Not you either.
He calls me fat all the time.
You're not fat.
It makes sense to take as much fat off as we can. Once it gets strained out and transferred to another container, this amazing braising liquid with all the flavors of the soy, the sake, the sugar, and the pork belly get poured on top of our beautiful soft-boiled eggs. Time for another trick. We're going to use a paper towel to sort of
the eggs
press
down
on top of the eggs.
to where they stay under
any parts of the eggs that dare to poke out above the
way they marinate
get
properly.
submerged and colored right back in. In order for these eggs to get a nice tan, I'm putting them in the fridge for at least a day. The ramen from the show is a tonkotsu style ramen, which means it starts with a lot of bones. I have here pre-blanched pork femur bones, chicken carcass bones, and chicken feet. These are all going to add a lot of flavor and a lot of body to the soup as we simmer it for hours. In addition, I'm also adding in pork fat back. The idea is as the soup and broth continuously comes to a boil and reduces, the fat should emulsify into the broth itself, which is pretty cool. I'm boiling this until the meat kind of starts to fall off the bone and become a little tender. That's when I get to say hi to you guys.
Hi, Alvin.
And after the meat is nice and loosened up, I'm going to start adding the vegetables, which are going to be the aromatics for the broth. This includes some chopped cabbage, a chopped onion, a chopped carrot, half of a whole head of garlic, chopped scallions, some ginger, half of an apple, and 1 potato. We're gonna let everybody in here become friends for about 2 hours or so. Peace out, little dudes. I'll see you soon. And while that big pot of broth goes on the back burner, I'm gonna finish off our dashi. So remember those little fishies we put in the water earlier? Well, that's going
That you ripped
into
the
a
heads
smaller
off of.
pot, along with some kombu and the dried shiitake mushroom. After giving these guys about 10 to 15 minutes or so to return to their formerly hydrated selves, following a little bit of gentle heat, I'm adding in katsuobushi, or dried bonito flakes, to the mixture and letting that slowly simmer just until the heat has permeated. The studio has now taken on a scent of the sea, so we are going to strain this entire pot and end up with a beautiful dashi for our ramen. It is now 3 hours into the future. To my delight, our
big
ramen
whisk.
broth has thickened and reduced nicely.
Look at the size of that whisk, man.
Dang.
It's bigger than my fist. Look at that. Imagine just whisking a soup with like something like that.
It's quite a massive thing, isn't it?
It's massive, I'll tell you right now. I was gonna say, that thing's like, you could whisk like a fish straight out the sea with that right there.
Yeah.
Well, say, what you trying to pull out of there, man? You're trying to, hey, look at me right now. You're looking straight at me. I love you, man. Don't you ever say different. I love you too, you little rapscallion. All right.
Taking on a milky color and becoming very, very intense in flavor. As you can see, I'm also using a whisk to break up any of the remaining bones or vegetables that might be lying around, just to release that extra amount of flavor into the broth.
Yeah.
The coolest part is that I don't really see fat floating on the top. It all seems to be actually emulsified within the liquid itself, which is pretty cool. And it is at this stage of the cooking that I'm adding in the dashi. I've heard adding it too early can cause the flavors of the dashi to get muted. And as you can see here, I am attempting to strain this entire pot of broth into a small container. We have a beautiful tonkatsu broth. I salute
it's a nice broth.
Ramen. You really know what
it's
you're
a good
doing,
broth.
man. Now that one of the hardest
It
parts
looks like
about
coffee.
the ramen is done.
It kind of does. It kind of looks like a latte or
Like
something.
a nice vanilla latte.
Yeah, vanilla latte.
Go to Starbucks
Going to say, I
and
need a
put-
vanilla latte right now.
Go into
extra,
Starbucks
venti,
and-
extra shavings
Cream.
of chocolate
That's
and a shot of espresso.
I went to Starbucks and put my drink inside of a pot.
Yeah, that's my average Starbucks order. Can I get some dashi?
Can I?
Some broth.
Some dashi broth.
Inside of a...
Moving on to the toppings. Our roll of chashu has set up quite nicely, so now it's time to take off the strings and slice these into nice little beautiful rounds for later. Look at these little dudes. Just like Naruto, I also enjoy quite a lot of meat on my ramen. I'm also slicing up some scallions, as well as the signature topping that Naruto is named after. This is a fish cake called
Narutomaki?
Narutomaki.
Yes.
A very fitting topping for
Fish
a
cake.
boy who loves ramen. And finally, the ajitama, which have gotten nice and dark from their little rest in their flavor bath. It's important to get your toppings in order before cooking the ramen, because I was taught that time is one of the most important ingredients when you're making
Look at
ramen.
that egg.
A minute too late,
That
your
egg
soup
looks-
gets cold. A
that
minute
egg
too early, your
looks
noodles
great.
aren't ready. Everything needs to be cooked, plated, served, and eaten in a very, very small window of time for the maximum enjoyment. Remember the marinade we put the eggs in? Well, you can actually brush that on top of the chashu and blowtorch it to get a really nice caramelized, smoky exterior. This is something that I remember Keizo doing a lot in his shop, so I'm gonna do the same. Also kind of an excuse for me to play with a little bit of fire. I love fire. It's amazing. It smells so good. The fat is rendering and crisping up. It's getting a little smoky. The sugars are caramelizing. This is why I'm the kind of guy that'll order extra chashu in his ramen whenever possible.
Alvin, the type of guy to bring his own blowtorch to the ramen shop.
Really? Yeah.
Let's talk ramen noodles. You can go and spend a lot of time and effort making these from scratch, but I decided that it was a little too much work for a ramen amateur like me. So I went out and got some high quality ramen noodles from a local noodle maker. Another trick I learned from Keizo is that you can squeeze and almost compress the ramen noodles together a couple of times before boiling. I think this helps wake up and excite the gluten inside the noodles to get them a little bit more springy after cooking. The second the noodles touch the water, things get pretty intense. We now have exactly 1 minute to make sure that this bowl is ready with the soup and the tare before the noodles. So that means putting a spoonful of the miso tare in the bottom of the bowl and ladling in a healthy portion of soup. Usually these things are weighed out to the gram and to the milliliter, but I'm being a little bit rough here because it's my first time.
Yeah.
The moment the noodles touch the soup, the clock is ticking. Every single second they sit in there is another second that they're gonna get soggier. So working quickly and putting on the chashu, trying my best to make sure that these slices don't sink and fan out in a beautiful pattern, and making
That
sure it
looks
is loaded
really
up,
good
because that is
already.
what Naruto wants. And after about 7 thick and
all
beautiful
that
slices
pork.
of chashu, I'm splitting open our ajitama. Ooh, hold up, that looks nice. Look at that jammy centered yolk. Followed by our thinly sliced scallions, the Naruto maki, the menma, which is a bamboo topping I got also from the store, and finally the nori sheets. And I would like to present to you our version of Ichiraku Ramen from Naruto.
That looks really good.
Heavily inspired by the recipe that Way of Ramen used in his
Well
video.
done, Alvin.
And now
Well
for the
done.
moment I have been waiting for. The chashu is delicious, it's smoky, it's so good. Let's see how the broth and the noodles are. The seasoning could be a little bit better. I think my ratios were a little bit off, and if I adjusted the ratio of the tare to the broth, it could have been a little bit stronger. But this is rich. It is thick, it is milky, it coats your tongue, it coats the noodles. Everything just tastes really
Man.
intense, and I love
Now
it.
I'm hungry.
There's just so many flavors. going
Now I'm
on.
hungry,
From
man.
the miso to the
See what you've
garlic
done to
the
me,
ginger
Alvin?
to the
You made me hungry. You've done your job. Well
pork,
done.
the chicken, and it kind of all just combines into this one explosion. It's also really fun to eat because there's like 7,000 toppings on here. This is a lot of food. So if you'll excuse me, I am going to have some alone time with my ramen.
Okay.
Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's episode. They've been a great partner in
Yes,
supporting Nevada's
Squarespace.
culinary
I've used Squarespace to build websites before. Pretty nice. Pretty nice.
universe and bringing my websites to life. From websites to online stores to domains and analytics,
Ah.
Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for you to build your
So-
online presence.
Have y'all ever had like true traditional ramen before?
No.
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 Ah, well, I mean, it's not too late. There's actually a ramen place in the Tri-Cities. Here we go. There we are. Yumari. Yeah, this is the one that Chad and Nikki have gone to several times. Look at
I'm gonna
that.
have to pay to visit.
Look at that. Look at the. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay to visit.
Yee.
And the writing.
Oh, the ratings are really good. Perfect ramen. We'll be going back to try the sushi. Stir Fry Cafe. That's another one that's in Kingsport. Oh, we definitely need to try this. We definitely need to go.
Okay, I will say one thing. There's some restaurants in the Tri-Cities that are Asian restaurants.
But they're not.
We
Asian.
have okay.
Well, it's sort of like Asia Cafe. Asia Cafe is sort of, kind of still an Asian
I'm
restaurant.
just gonna include a little horror story for y'all.
Bring it. I live for this.
So we went to a little Asian restaurant. It was for someone's birthday, and we were like, "Okay, let's go." Mom picked it, so
Oh.
I guess that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So we walk in, and we sit down, and immediately I'm like, "This place is pretty sketchy." And so we get food, and a roach crawls across the table.
Oh no! Just like all of a sudden you're sitting there and you just see.
And I was like, "Mom, there is a roach on this table." And she goes, "It's okay. We just need to finish the food and leave." And so we go up there and they're like, "We're not." I forgot who it was. Someone with us said, "We're not paying for this food." The woman at the front desk picks up the phone and calls the police. And so the police show up at the restaurant and they're like, "Yeah, we've been here many times, but not to eat." So apparently it was a more than one time thing that the police had been called to the restaurant because people didn't pay for their food. And then I think it was last year I checked to see, just because I was curious, if it was still open. It got closed down like shortly after.
Yay! Now you won't have to worry about ever going back there.
Yeah.
There's several places in the Tri-Cities I need to take you and your fam to get some good grub. For instance, Johnson City, Freiburg's. You ever been to Freiburg's?
I don't think so.
Best schnitzel you will ever
I
have.
think Mom has, though.
Wait,
Yeah.
Ron. If
She
she
probably
saw that
has.
roach on that table, she would be like, ooh, a roach.
No.
No, if I just seen that on the table, I'd have picked the roach up with the chopsticks and just been like, I'd have thrown it at the receptionist lady.
She called the police, like... And the thing is, they were like, yeah.
Just like, actually, I'd take it up to her and I'd just be like, yes, ma'am, we didn't order this.
We didn't order a roach?
And the food was not good, either.
There was one place I ate at. It's closed now. It was a place that had a hibachi grill. I smelled like a weird, funky stank coming from the hibachi grill like area where you could get the meats and stuff to make for the hibachi. I was just like, huh, meat smells weird. I don't know about this. And I was hungry anyway. I was just like, skip it. We'll see what happens. It wasn't about 10 minutes after I ate. My stomach was just like, you have made a terrible mistake. And now I will make you pay. And I immediately was just like, I gotta go. And then I'm on my way to the bathroom, and I'm in the bathroom, and then I'm knocking on like one of the stalls, and there's a guy inside. He's just like, first time? He's like, first time? And I'm like, oh gosh. And I stood outside that stall for like a solid 5 minutes. I heard the guy flush the toilet, and then he got up and got out. He's like, after you. I go in, and I sit down. Dude, I was in there for like a solid 20 minutes. They thought that I left. And I came back out of the bathroom, and the waiter was just like, oh, there you are. Hey, man, we thought that you left, and we cleared off the table and everything. And I was just like, I'm sorry, man. My stomach just tried to murder me. So
Did you have food poisoning?
I don't know. I never went back. The place shut down. But my stomach wasn't right for like a solid 2 days.
There was
after
something
I ate
wrong
there.
with that meat.
Yeah, there was something wrong with it. And needless to say,
They put the roach in the table in it.
no. My guess is like it was spoiled. The meat was probably spoiled or something like
Most
that.
likely.
Yeah,
Or had a
bad preservative on it. I don't know. But either way, though, yeah. So that was So we're gonna have to go and like actually try ramen sometime.
Yeah.
And let you all try good traditional ramen, and we'll try and do that sometime. That sound good to y'all?
Yeah.
We can make that because if we're gonna hang out more, we can make that like a thing where we go like, hey, let's go to this place and let's try it out, or let's go here. It's like I took y'all to the music store earlier today.
Yeah.
And we saw some interesting stuff up there, and who knows, maybe maybe you'll want to go back one day if you ever want to actually like buy an instrument or something like that when you get a little bit older. But yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed this, and this will hopefully be a little teaser for y'all going and actually trying ramen, and hopefully if y'all want to see that, let us know in the comments. But for now, I think that is going to do it. This was Anime with Alvin, Ichiraku Ramen from Naruto, and we hope that you all enjoyed. And until next time, I'm Nate.
I'm Case.
I'm Rylan.
And we'll see you then, everybody. Bye-bye.